Why does it feel so destabilizing when life brings us to a crossroad? When I was 19 years old, I was faced with possible amputation on my leg. I had debilitating chronic pain, started when I was 16, and Western medicine had no answers for me. There was no injury, no accident, so it was a complete mystery to them. And they exhausted all options that they had, and their final option for me was amputation. So because they didn't know what to do, their only thought was, let's just try to remove the pain altogether. There's no blame to Western medicine. They're doing the best they could, but they couldn't figure out what was going on. And the only solution they had then was just pain management. So I was taking up to 10 to 15 Oxycontin pills a day. And so when I was 19, I was faced with this crossroad, like, where am I going to go? And, it terrified me because that's a huge life altering decision. And, but it's all I knew. And so if I go this path, it's the total unknown. Right? And so I was terrified. And that experience in my life, it really broke me down. And it truly did humble me, because I did learn how to, really pray. And fortunately, Spirit heard me, and it presented me this new path and sent one of their doctors ayahuasca. And so that led me on a very deep and transformative healing journey. Now looking back at it, and I see the whole situation and scenario much differently. And I see those challenges, those tests, and that crossroad as an opportunity that life and Spirit gives us. We either have the choice to continue on the path that we're on, and for me at the time, if I continued that way, potentially lose my leg, but not only just my leg, but potentially my life. Because at the time I was just drinking alcohol, doing drugs. And so if I went that path, I probably wouldn't even be here making this video right now. But because I chose to go the unknown, what other options did I have? I may as well just give everything to this. And fortunately, my life turned out much better. I have my health, I have my life, I have a life that I never thought I would be able to create. And so the way I see these crossroads is that it's really just an opportunity to reevaluate, what's truly important to us, what are our values, and how are we currently living. Is the way that we're currently living, is it in alignment with our core values, our true values? If not, well, now we have this opportunity to reassess and to align with what is important to us and to create a whole new life. What came for me from following this path with ayahuasca was, not only healing, but it brought me this community that is just full of incredibly beautiful people that are like-minded, on the same path of their own transformation. It's given me the ability to be able to help people. I live a life that is full of purpose, and I can say that I live a path that I know is in alignment with my truth and my highest truth. And for me, that's above all the most important thing, to live a life that is aligned with my highest truth. Years ago, I remember, making a vow to myself when I first started with ayahuasca. I was faced with another crossroad at that time, and I didn't know what choice to make. And at that time, I didn't really have much of a relationship. I lost my relationship with God, but I had a relationship with ayahuasca. And so I prayed to ayahuasca, and I said, I don't care how hard my path may be, just as long as it's in alignment with my truth. And that has been my life's mantra. And because at the end of the day, it's like, there's only one thing that stands, and that's truth. this whole life is a very temporary experience. This isn't even where we're from, in my opinion. We're just simply passing through. And so, yeah, fear and the shadow and the mind is part of this experience, but it's not who we are. And so when we're faced with these opportunities that life gives us, it gives us that chance to really discover who we truly are. And then it's up to us to make that choice of whether or not we're going to follow that path. So if you find yourself at a crossroad, just know, it's all about perspective. You can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as like a curse. I used to see my foot, my leg as everything that was going on as a curse. Or you can look at this as an opportunity. And for me, like how I healed my leg was shifting identities and beliefs. If you shift your identity and you shift your belief, you shift your paradigm. You shift your paradigm, you get a whole new life. The opportunity is to embody. And in order to embody, you have to shift our perception from victim mentality to empowerment. So my question to you is, if you're at this crossroad, what's truly important to you? And look at those two paths. Which one is more in alignment with your values? We're all going to reach the end of our life one day, and we're all going to look back at our lives, either with a regret or fulfillment.